All right guys, Dennis back with the final video in the shed series. So I have the doors off right now. Shed's all painted up real nice. I'm going to be building a ramp today, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So first we need to kind of figure out how long we want the ramp, right? And what kind of angle we want. After determining the length of the ramp that I want, right? Is to kind of figure out where the far end of this board is going to end up. Kind of where I need to be placing my supports for it, right? You can put pressure treated right on the ground, no big deal. So what I want to do is try to figure out where this brick needs to go. And I'm going to do the same thing for kind of each of the four that are going here. So I'm going to actually cut those pressure treated 2x6s right now. I'm going to have a ledger board instead of using like joist hangers or something like that. I'm going to have a ledger board, which is basically a 2x6 pressure treated lumber, same as the rest of the ramp. And I'm going to mount that in this opening here. All right, so we're getting our ledger board on. I used a 3-inch construction screw on that side, and I'm simulating my decking height on here, right? I want that to come up, and I want the door to still cover the floor, but I want the door to also clear that decking. All right, so I had to dig this out behind here a little bit because of the angle and the length of the ramp where it needs to be. So I blocked up this one stringer. I got it flush against the side here. I got my height pretty close, enough where it's not going to really matter. And I have the end here, as you can see, the bottom here is pretty much flush with this edge here. So with this brick being level with the ground, now I can determine my angle, and all I need to do is scribe this right here, this line right onto here. And I'm going to show you how to figure out the angle for the piece or the side that gets connected to the ledger board. We're sitting on that block perfectly. I'm actually going to move the block back a little bit. Now, to determine your cut angle here, you want this block flush with that ledger board, and bam, right? I matched my angle here. I'm gonna bring this right up to my top edge, make sure I'm still flush on this side, and I'm gonna draw this cut down. And that will match up our angle to this board here. All right, so I've redone these bricks. I think this is the second time or third time. I initially put the left side, because it was higher, I put it level with the ground, right? So I didn't have to dig down really deep. And then the problem that arose was by the time I got to this side, this brick was up so high that I would have had to fill this entire area in with like 6 to 8 inches of fill. And I just wasn't feeling that. So what I did is I came back to this side, I dug this brick out, I put this brick level with the ground, right? So then I'm not worried about this lumber being in contact with the ground. It's okay if the left side is touching the ground just a little bit. The rest of it will fit in there nice. So what I'm doing now is I'm going back through. These three are level. I have to dig this one down a little bit more and get this one level. Everything is level, everything's spaced out for the stringers now. All right guys, so I chose to, instead of drilling or screwing these ramp stringers from behind on the ledger board, I got these stringer holders here, and you basically nail it on. Oops, that would go this way. I would have my angle on the bottom here. I put a bunch of nails there, and then I bend this up underneath the stringer and nail a bunch into there. I'm gonna put these 5/16 by 4 GRK lag screws in. All right, so we got our blocking in, and what that is doing for us is kind of holding everything together, so when we put our decking boards on, these don't kind of come apart really, right? The decking will hold everything together, but we're exactly 6 foot. You want to plan the length of your deck to fit approximately, you know, full boards all the way down. If you do have to trim one, that's fine. All right, guys, and that's all there is to it. I have a small section here that I could put a board on if I wanted to, but because the ground is a little bit higher here, I'm just gonna actually backfill this. I'm gonna go now and I'm gonna take my router, I'm gonna round off the edges on both sides here. And that's it. Done. And I'll show you guys here a little side view, right? So if you look at the ramp, right, I made the ramp so I have a little lip here still, so I'm still gonna have to drive over this with my tractor, or when I go to put my push mower in here, we're actually gonna put an aluminum edge on here to protect this. But I'll show you, we still, if you see it, we're still overlapping right there. All right, so that's gonna help keep rodents out. All right, I'll show you it up in detail here. So all I did is I had drilled in about 1 inch from each side, and then I went from center, and then I just marked out 1 foot on each side and put a handful of stainless steel truss head screws in here, so they're not sticking up very high. You can kind of see them from the side here. Everything should close. Everything closes good still. Just like that, it's done. Beautiful. That's actually almost nicer than the house. The house needs to be power washed, but it came out really well. I'm probably gonna put like a bluestone step over here, I think, to kind of wrap this up. I'll probably do some decorative like mulch and some plants and stuff in the springtime. Obviously, it's too cold to do that stuff now.